All right. Greetings, everyone. This is Hong Long from Hong Long Wujai. Welcome back to Starcom Nexus. I was going to do Broken Arrow again tonight, but I have to go somewhere in about 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I can stop this one at any time, whereas Broken Arrow is, especially since I'm playing multiplayer now, it's going to be so there's an indefinite time frame. I may, however, once I get done doing what I have to do, I may do another stream starting around 12:20 Pacific for about maybe do 2 or 3 games of Broken Arrow. We shall see how awake I am. All right, first let me go check out my sync, and then we will get to it. All right, looking good. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that bell for notifications. And if you can, check out that coffee link that's in the description below and send us a gratuity, which, with the bill that just passed through Congress that I did not support, all tips are now not taxable, so that'll be all coming to me if you send it that way. Don't think about doing a super chat unless you see 500 subs under my name, because until then you're just handing that money straight over to YouTube, which is a $1 billion corporation. They've got enough money. All right, so let's get to it with this game, shall we? I think we've covered another area or two to explore. That music sounds like there's somebody. More? Where? Guess we're never gonna get out of here. Two different groups. More. Page guys. You keep switching off. It always takes a while to get back used to the new controls. My goodness. Mm. I was over here. Did all that. Do all this. Oh, come on. I'm just not sure where I want to go. I guess over here. I think we went from here to here. We go all over here. I think we went all over here too. We go from here to here. So we did do that. I guess we did do that. I think actually we should probably go here. Go up. There's a lot of space here. I think there's some more stuff over here. You would think. Who knows? Who really knows? Outside of people who have played the game before, so they better by themselves. Could be any direction. So we've got 135. See if we're still losing people for that. And once again, surprised that Vegas didn't burn down last night, considering all the fireworks that went off. Well, there was a fire at the Cromwell on the Strip, but I didn't see that it burned down. Just saw that there was a fire there. Yeah, we are still losing people from the disease. Yeah, this is not looking like it's not like it's working out for us here. I think it's a spiral galaxy thing. They mentioned an arm, so I'm sure we'll go with that. This one should come out more too. Or maybe this comes in, this comes in, this comes in. Goes out here, and there's one here. No, this isn't working out for us here. How much space there's got to be stuff over here. And come out to here. And go here. Actually, we're going to go here. Back like this. And then we'll, nothing there. I say, go here. And then just travel upwards. Go here and go north. What is this thing? Well, this is that thing that kept pushing us away. And then maybe here. That's right. Lovely. I had pizza today. Oh my god, pizza and a chocolate shake. I can barely breathe. Ate way too much to do some major working out. Today, all I did was I stretched for about an hour and a half, so my legs are sore. But tomorrow I got to do some calisthenic stuff. The main calisthenic stuff I've been doing has been punches lately. So I think maybe I need to do kicks. Better for a gut workout. We got some more coordinates. So. Well, we're getting nowhere faster. And another one goes down. Another one down. It's 4 people we lost. Wow. Another one dies. Lost the lives of 5 crewmen for nothing. Wonder if we should go here and go north. I think we already tried that from here, at least. Well, that was a big waste of time. I doubt we're going to run into anything at this point in this area. Something else here? Yet. Yet. All right, well, we didn't go here yet. We did go here. A cursory search of the area where the supposed anomaly was detected reveals nothing of interest. Perhaps the anomaly scanner is on the brink again. Have them keep searching the area. Must be something. +7 adamantine. The team fans out across the area after a few minutes. One of the members stumbles over a small nugget of nearly pure adamantine. They continue to search the area, but no other deposits are found. The team geologists can offer no explanation for the find. Attempting to pilot the lander any closer to the tip of an anomaly would be suicide. Had the team brave the storm. Half kilometers out from the lander, there is a terrible rumble as several million tons of snow descends on the team. When it stops, everyone is found safe except for the security officer. Her environment suit is still transmitting violent signs. Looks like the avalanche has destabilized some high host snowpack. Another could occur at any. Trying now. Team begins a quick but thorough search of where they think the team member was last seen. They pull her from the snow, unconscious but alive. As the lander takes off, they can see evidence of another avalanche filling the area. These ones are all close together. Sensors detect an indistinct anomalous reading beneath the surface of the waves. Surface conditions on this part of the planet make for dangerous conditions. Sending down in dive suits. +15 research points. I know I'm not supposed to use the comms during a survey for idle chatter, but can we name this phenomenon continental drift racing? The anomaly turns out to be a tremendous amount of geothermal energy being unleashed as one of the planet's continents slides beneath another in a subduction zone. Continents are moving at the incredible rate for continents of 5 meters per day. Self-illuminating bright green color of this comet seems to come from a novel phenomenon related to the Casimir effect, generated between the outgassing particles. We should be on the lookout for variants of these for more data. to hang out and see if that comment shows up. Violence. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be doing us any good. Finding anything. Well, I don't know. I don't want us to go here. All just seems kind of random. I was up another comment. Yeah, I'm not getting the whole green. Yeah, I just looked it up on Google and it said it's a hot, cold thing, which I'm guessing. But it doesn't tell you that. One person said the violet was the worst, which I'm assuming because it's the furthest out. So I'm guessing we have to go where the yellow is. And find something in here. Who knows what, though? I don't see anything. Unless we've already found it. It's darker than yellow, so. Although it could be yellow orange. Is that sun? Where is this thing right here? Because the target's at red, not yellow. So we have to go to orange and then red. And another one goes. Yeah, so here's something. That's it right there. Close examination reveals that this is a life support pod designed to keep a single occupant alive in cryostasis for up to 2 years. Judging from the desiccated corpse inside, it's been here for quite a bit, longer even at deep space temperatures. Slow degradation has left little but dust as some skeletal remains. Looks to be a hand clutches a small personal data device etched with the name Amu. Sturdy device is still in excellent condition with its data crystal intact, various files, There's a single brief audio recording. The poor soul had a personal data device which is several terabytes of valuable Starcom technical data and what appears to be some kind of algorithm. Analysis confirmed it's another one of the key filter algorithms. That's a total of 2. In all the stories we read as children, if somebody made a wish, it would somehow go wrong. It didn't matter how careful they were or how noble their intentions. If you call upon a lamp, wizard, or imp to reify your dreams, you would come to regret it. As adults, you'd think we'd know better, but no, we did it anyway. We recited the incantation to the golden sphere, not in words, but code and data. Now we ride on the Djin's back, carried by a singularity to the singularity. They really should teach more fairy tales in the Symphonics curriculum. Here's another one. Let's see. Well, I don't know what else to do. Go here and then go up. Don't see anything else. Go down here. Let's go down here. We already did some of this stuff, didn't we? I think we came down here. We found this. So, and it really looks like we're going nowhere faster tonight. Actually, looks like we're going nowhere slow. It's not covered anything. All right, I just looked it up, and it says that the galaxy does extend all the way out, but the systems become less and less frequent, and outside of the main area, the stuff outside of the main area is procedurally generated, so it's not necessary. So I guess we're going to head back up this way. I guess for the stuff towards the edge of the galaxy, we're going to want to get super fast engines. I haven't had say any issues since they decided to give me the month of June for free. Well, I don't know. I've already paid for June, so I'm guessing it's the month of July I'm getting for free. What's going on, Perpetual? We're doing Starcom because I have to get off in about another hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. But I might get on for a second stream doing do some PvP on Broken Arrow for like a game or two. Once I get done with what I got to do. So far today doing this has been a bust. We've only come across in an hour and 15 minutes, we've only come across one thing, and outside of doing some fighting at the get-go by our base, we haven't really. It's been kind of boring. I guess maybe we should go here and then just travel in between these points out here. I guess that's what we'll do. We'll head for this place here. Then we'll go here, and then we'll go from here to here. Well, yeah. So far this has been the least fun stream of Starcom that I've done so far. It's the quietness and stillness of space. There is some background, but it's not a lot. And it's really quiet. So you can, that's the background right there. Oh shit, my, there we go. Oh, so yeah, you can hear any of the background. I've been playing the music. I guess that must have been going on the whole damn time. No, he hasn't. He hasn't been up here at all yet. That's just it. I must have, I probably hit it when I started the stream. When I turned the camera on, I probably hit it because it's right next to the camera, but and I just didn't notice it. So all that time I've been playing music, nobody's heard it. I wasn't playing that one, but I played all the other ones. Wow. So we've gone here, we did this. I was over here and I did this. I did this. And I haven't found anything. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go fly between here and here. Let's go do some fighting first, huh? Sentinel and the Cheek are hanging out. All right, well, let's hope we run into something this time. So far, exploration has been a big 0 tonight. Tomorrow night we're going to be doing Elite Dangerous, space trucking, working on that spaceport. Probably not get done until if we stream Tuesday as well, and then next Sunday, maybe next Tuesday. At the end of next Tuesday, we might be able to have it done. Because that's going to take some hauling. Another crew member lost. We lost almost 30 dudes from illness today. And we're not finding anything here. We're just getting a big Zippo tonight. Yeah, but in Elite, when we're not doing anything, or we're, you know, we can at least have something to see. But here, there's nothing to see. Barely anything, nothing to see. Come. I guess we head there and we just keep heading straight out. Wow, another big waste of time that was, huh? So we've done 4 long exploration treks today, and we haven't found anything. We did from here. We went this way, this way, this way. We did this. We did this. And now we did this. And nothing. We found nothing. That just blows. It blows, man. It blows the big one. A big giant elephant ding dong. It blows it. You take a nap here. This is the least fun I've had playing this game. It's not frustrating, but it's been kind of boring today. We did get in 6 planet scans, but that was in a star system that we already knew was there. This one right here. We just hadn't come down to explore it yet. We've already been here as well. Maybe we can do some fighting in here. Yet. Hard to make this interesting. So let's see. Oh, what's his name? Damon? The lead singer from Disturbed. He got booed at the last show from Ozzy Osbourne. Not because he sucks as far as singing goes, but because he sucks as a person for signing bombs meant to blow up kids in Gaza. I didn't watch the thing, mainly because of Sharon Osbourne's comments. But I'm guessing that there weren't any. Even though, where were you been by me, Ma? Even though even though he was booed, I'm guessing there was no, unlike at the Glastonbury Festival the week before, I'm guessing there weren't any chants of free Palestine, or stop the genocide, or death to the IDF coming from the headbangers. Generally, they are an apathetic and apolitical group. Not all, but in general. But I haven't seen any reporting that anybody from the Oz Festival or the farewell, the 29th farewell tour of Ozzy Osbourne said anything in that regards. And since I'm sure it would have been reported on had they done so. But there were like the people who watched it, there were like the overwhelming majority of the comments about the guy getting food were fuck you, he's an asshole, and blah blah blah, so on and so on. Yeah, he's just the moment he did the reality show, he started doing the reality. I mean, I never watched it, but I've seen excerpts from it, and the guy's just, he's gone. There's nothing up here anymore. Some of the songs he wrote were pretty good. That Ultimate Sin album was a very good album. It was like, at the time that it came out, he came out and he explained that it was a concept album against nuclear war, which was the ultimate sin. And then after going into rehab for about 20 times, and his dominatrix Sharon, right-wing dominatrix Sharon, telling him what he should think, and all of a sudden the ultimate sin became abortion. And that's what the album was about. And it's just as bad as Bono, who says Sunday Bloody Sunday had nothing to do with the Troubles. And once he got his knighthood and started conning poor people into giving rich people money to prance around Africa, he forgot all of his political beliefs. Kind of like the guy, I don't know what his name, but the guy from Down Under, from Oz, the Beds Are Burning guy who became a parliamentarian. Pseudo lefts are they're from the get-go, they're opportunistic politicians. It's like this Mamdani guy. He's already starting to backtrack on even the little reformist crap that he is proposing. And Jacobin, they published an article the other day written by a guy. Jacobin, by the way, is the House organ of the Democratic Socialists of America, to which Mamdani belongs. They had the guy, Peter Weir or something like that. He wrote an article. He quit the DSA 2 years ago because he said that they were insufficient in their condemnation of Hamas after October 7th. But they gave him space in their rag to sit there and tell Mamdani that, and the people who voted for him, that they have to be ready to compromise. The Democratic Socialists are neither democratic nor socialists. They are, however, American nationalists. There's nothing in their program that remotely resembles socialism. These are the same guys who, besides voting for to fund Israel's genocidal military machine, have also voted to keep railroaders from striking here in the United States. They're scum. They also supported the Ukraine war. When they originally formed, they were formed by Michael Harrington, who is fervently anti-communist. He was a disciple of Max Shachtman, who was a renegade from Trotskyism, in the 40s. Matter of fact, Trotsky's In Defense of Marxism was written as a polemic against Shachtman, Burnham and Shachtman. It wasn't. I don't think it was. It might have been Peter Garrett, but I don't think so. I'm thinking it was Peter W. something. Shachtman originally left the Trotskyist movement over the revelations of the secret pact, Stalin's secret pact with him. The fact that he left leaving the Trotskyist movement based on anything that the Stalinists did demonstrates that he didn't really have a firm foothold in the Trotskyist movement. He wound up moving. He moved rapidly to the right. He actually wrote flyers that were translated into Korean that the United States government dropped over North Korea during the war. He wound up becoming, Michael Harrington, who was the founder of DSA, who was his disciple. He also had a number of right-wing, the whole neocon movement were originally disciples of him. The whole Reagan, I think almost all of Reagan's cabinet were followers of Shachtman at one point in time. Look at that. There's another waste. Not a damn thing in there. Yeah, I don't know. Oh no, I was talking about Peter, the other Peter, the Peter that wrote the article for Jacobin magazine. He's an American. Yeah, Peter. The Midnight. Yeah, but as far as the Peter Garrett Midnight Oil, that's correct. I thought you were referring to the guy who wrote the article for Jacobin. He was Peter W. something. Can't remember the last. I want to say W-E-I-R, Weir, but I'm not positive. I can find out quick. Da, 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 da. Ba, 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 ba. There's a series of articles in Jacobin along the same theme, reinforcing the political domination of the Democratic Party while tamping down any expectations among those who voted for Mamdani. Perhaps the most explicit of these appeared on Monday. Oh no, I was wrong. No W. Under the headline, How Zoran Mamdani Can Succeed as Mayor by Peter Dreyer. Dreyer is a professor at Occidental College and a former chief advisor to longtime Democratic mayor of Boston, Wayne Flynn, who later served as U.S. ambassador to the Vatican under Bill Clinton. And these are the kind of people that populate the Democratic Socialists of America. A longtime member of the DSA, Dreyer quit the organization in November 2023, denouncing it for failing to sufficiently condemn Hamas after October 7th. This is the figure Jacobin selects to set the political line after a major mayoral primary in which the winning candidate opposed the genocide in Gaza. Dreyer lays out a plan for Mamdani, a member of the DSA, to deal with the opposition from Wall Street by hiring experienced advisors to help him gauge when business threats are real, persuading sections of the corporate elite that inequality is unsustainable, and redefining a healthy business climate. In other words, Mamdani must work with Wall Street, assure them their interests won't be threatened, and ask politely if they might consider sharing the prosperity while making sure not to threaten their interest. Mamdani's most important task, Dreyer writes, will be to make sure that he takes care of the civic housekeeping functions of local government. This includes making sure police response times are fast and develop a working relationship with police and their union. This is the kind of shit that these supposed socialists publish in their fucking rag, which is not fit to wipe the ass of any worker. any socialist magazine, or any magazine that claims to be socialists, and prints an article which says this includes making sure police response times are fast and developing a working relationship with the police and their union. Well, you can bet one thing: this guy is not a fucking socialist. He's not even a capitalist reformer. So getting to the heart of the matter, Dreyer works overtime to lower expectations and prepare Mamdani's supporters for retreat. They must have patience and the strategic understanding that significant policy changes take time and often require compromise. He insists that compromise is not the same thing as selling out and is in fact good, while it leads to stepping stone reforms. Yeah, there's so much for the socialism of the democratic socialists of America. But, I mean, we're not finding anything today. There's just nothing. You know what? We're gonna go here, and then we'll go here, and we're gonna go up. This is just horrid today. Let me see. I think the WSWS wrote an article a long time ago. Let's see. Oh, fuck. That's right. Search bar. Am I hanging up? A lot of lag today. we're about a minute. The stream is like a minute behind the behind. Wondering if might be using my connection. Oh, Facebook is working. WSWS is. Oh, this is pathetic. So we've gone all the way here. We've done here. We've done here. Here, all the way up to here. Nothing. So next we're going to go here. Just some mining, huh? Contained enormous fossils of a sea creature, extrapolating for samples between 800 and 1,200 meters long. Pretty big sea creature. Puts a whale shark to shame. And looks like we're done. Wow. I don't know. through this. Yeah, well, we were just drawing a big 0 tonight. Big 0, you know what I mean, huh? I did get 2 subs last night. Let's see how long they stay. Here's a couple of them on Peter Garrett. There's one from 2004, Lessons of Peter Garrett's Evolution. Another one from 2007, Labor's Peter Garrett presents his pro-war credentials. 2023. Let's look at this one. We're still getting nowhere. Oh, look, of course. Ship's not moving. From James Cogan, SCP candidate for Kingsford Smith, 5th of October 2004. Workers and young people can draw important lessons from the decision of former Midnight Oil singer and anti-nuclear and green activist Peter Garrett to stand as the candidate for the Australian Labor Party in the Sydney seat of Kingsford Smith, especially for those looking toward the Greens as an alternative. Garrett's evolution is a timely reminder of the necessity of carefully examined political programs and perspectives, rather than simply taking as good coin radical appearances and phraseology. Labor pollsters calculated earlier this year that by enlisting Garrett, the party could hope to swing a few potential Green voters back to the ALP. The celebrity rock star was referred to as Mr. 1%, indicative of Labor's desperation to regain whatever ground it possibly could in the lead up to the federal elections. The poll results stemmed from Garrett's rock star status and lingering illusions in his role in the anti-nuclear movement of the 1980s. Many people entering politics at the time saw Garrett as a left-wing alternative to Labor. He was one of the most prominent figures in the movement that developed against the right-wing character of the Hawke-Keating government and the nuclear and military buildup being carried out by the Reagan administration in the United States. Midnight Oil albums produced in the early 1980s, such as 10 to 1 and Red Sails in the Sunset, tapped into the opposition to U.S. militarism as well as concern over the environment and social inequality. Oil's concerts, dominated by Garrett's undeniable stage presence, assumed the character of political rallies. In 1984, Garrett entered politics as the main public spokesman for the newly formed Nuclear Disarmament Party. In the federal election of December 1984, he stood as the NDP's Senate candidate for New South Wales and won 9.6% of the vote. Nationally, the NDP polled 650,000 votes, and the NDP leader, Joe Valentine, was elected to the Senate from Western Australia. 20 years on, Garrett has stressed that he will submit to Labor Party discipline on all issues. He has publicly renounced the positions with which he was most identified, closing the U.S.-controlled Pine Gap spy station and banning uranium mining. Despite the fact that Labor has endorsed the illegal U.S.-led occupation of Iraq, at his maiden press conference, Garrett declared his allegiance to the party's foreign policy. He repudiated his past opposition to the U.S.-Australia military alliance and declared that, with the maturing of time, he no longer believed nuclear war to be a serious threat. The international situation has changed. It's terrorism now, not nuclear disarmament. He was satisfied, he said, that Labor's policies serve the interests of national security. In other words, over here. No, come over here. Okay, I'll come over here. No, okay, I'll come over here. Basically, emphasizing Lenin's quote, which my son loved, that all revolutionaries over the age of 30 or 40 should be taken out and shot. He said it as a joke because he was that age. But the point is that once people age, they become conservative and move ever further to the right. Garrett's standard refrain to all media inquiries about his about-face was quickly established. I'd agree with the policies of Mark Latham. So, did we get anything yet? Let's head over here. They're dying. We've lost almost 40 crew members. In the course of the election campaign, Garrett has remained as quiet as possible about the thoroughly right-wing agenda of Latham's Labor. He has avoided mentioning the Iraq War, Labor's support for the mandatory detention of refugees, and has failed to comment on the retrogressive character of Labor's taxation and family benefits policy, which will deliver tax cuts to better-off layers at the direct expense of living standards of single-income families earning less than $35,000. Garrett has also been notably silent on Latham's policy of forcing all non-residents to carry identity cards, a reactionary form of social control that has not been suggested since the Hawke Labor government's attempt in 1987 to introduce the so-called Australia card. At that time, Garrett denounced this as a step toward a one-party state. Garrett declared when he joined Labor that it was the primary party of reform. Taken at his word, this amounts to Garrett's open endorsement of the measures carried out by the Hawke and Keating Labor governments from 1983 to 1986. Throughout that period, Labor presided over declining real wages, widespread casualization, and contracting out, and the dismantling of trade union rights, all in the name of making Australian industry internationally competitive. Labor introduced user pays in health and education, including fees for university courses, mandatory detention centers for refugees, and a wholesale program of privatization of major state-owned entities. It deregulated the banks and carried out the first major tax cuts for high-income earners and corporations. In 1991, Hawke was among the first world leaders to back the U.S. attack in Iraq. The conservative Howard coalition government of the last 8 years has simply continued and deepened Labor's policies. When challenged in the course of the election campaign to justify Labor's record and Latham's agenda, Garrett has offered the pathetic platitude that inside the party he will try to be a voice for the concerns of ordinary people. His only differences with official Labor policy appear to be from the right, a Christian moral opposition to the right of abortion and to state support for in vitro fertilization. But Labor deems these conscience issues and therefore agrees to disagree. Wow. Many people have expressed surprise and even distaste at Garrett's decision to join Labor. The spectacle of a man repudiating everything he once stood for is certainly not an attractive one. At the most fundamental level, however, there's nothing surprising about Garrett's evolution. Enlisting with the ALP is the logical outcome of the line he has espoused since entering politics on the behalf of NPP. Garrett's response to militarism was shaped by his acceptance of the political and economic framework of capitalism, along with other leaders of the anti-nuclear movement in the 1980s. He uncritically identified socialism with the Stalinist bureaucratic regime in the Soviet Union. The anti-nuclear activists made no attempt to study the causes of the betrayal of the Russian Revolution or the program advanced by the Trotskyist movement against both imperialism and Stalinism. They rejected the Marxist analysis that the underlying cause of war and oppression lay in the global contradictions of capitalism, between world economy and its division into rival nation states, and the subordination of social production to the accumulation of private property, and that, therefore, it could only be ended through revolutionary social change carried out by the international working class. Instead, the anti-nuclear movement reduced the Cold War to power lust and stupidity in both Washington and Moscow, and argued that to end the threat of a nuclear holocaust, leaders on both sides only needed to be convinced to disarm. Such pacifist and ignorant analysis offered no answers and no way forward. Nuclear military buildup, initiated under the Reagan administration, flowed organically from the economic crisis that had gripped U.S. capitalism since the early 1970s. After several decades of coexistence, it represented the first stage of the return by Washington to military might to overcome its declining world position, a process that has vastly intensified in the last 2 decades. And in the succeeding 2 decades has exploded exponentially. Above all, the U.S. military buildup was, remember, this was written in 2004. Above all, the U.S. military buildup was aimed at bringing about the collapse of the Soviet Union. Despite the Stalinist bureaucracy's decades of collaboration with imperialism, the territory of the USSR remained sealed off from capitalist exploitation by the nationalized property relations established in the 1917 revolution. The struggle against militarism and the danger of war demanded the defense of the Soviet Union against imperialist aggression. And this is one of the reasons Schachman broke with the Trotskyist movement. After the revelations of the secret the Stalin-Hitler pact, he no longer agreed with this perspective, that the struggle against militarism and the danger of war demanded the defense of the Soviet Union against imperialist aggression, combined with an orientation to the international working class to construct an independent political movement fighting for a socialist perspective in the capitalist countries and for the overthrow of the Stalinist apparatus and reestablishment of genuine workers' democracy in the Soviet Union. Struggle against militarism was inseparably connected to the social issues confronting the working class. Tremendous political upsurge from 1968 to 75 had been betrayed and dissipated by Stalinist, social democratic, trade union, and nationalist leaderships, opening the door for a global counter-offensive by the ruling elite, particularly in the United States and Britain. State-sponsored attacks on the working class were being unleashed to meet corporate demands for mass layoffs, the reduction in wages, and the restructuring of working conditions. A process that has been taken to its heights up to today, where the conditions of existence of workers in Britain, Australia, and the United States are rivaling those of workers in China, Latin America, and Eastern Europe. Governments internationally were implementing economic deregulation to remove all obstacles to the global flow of capital as corporations employed new forms of technology and communications to reorganize production and transfer entire processes to low-cost labor regimes. Let's see where we're at. Found anything? I'm guessing no. No, not a damn thing that we found. What's up, horse and cat? Yeah, nothing. I don't know where else to go. Done all of this, all of that. Went up here and down here. I don't know what else to do. Fucking went there. Everywhere we went, there's nothing to find. I'll go out this way. God dang it. Right. Let's finish reading this article here. In Australia, it was Labour, in collaboration with the trade unions, that implemented this agenda, and by 1984 it was well away. Flowing from their pacifist renunciation of the class struggle and socialism, however, Garrett and the NDP explicitly opposed any struggle to build an alternative political movement to Labour and union bureaucracy in the working class. The conclusion drawn by Garrett and other left intellectuals from the betrayals and defeats of the 1970s was not that a genuine socialist leadership was needed, but that the working class was incapable of changing society. In other words, because their stupid perspective didn't work, it was the fault of workers and the fact that they were not revolutionary, not the fact that their policies were wrong. As anti-militarist sentiment, and then because of this, they moved ever further to the right. So this is a continuous process. It happens like, with every, they renew this with every generation, every few years, they keep reciting the same bullshit on and on down ad nauseum. If you go look at the history of every movement, leftist movement, this is the same result and the same process that's been going on. As anti-militarist sentiment spread among Australian youth, Garrett and the NDP came forward to tell them that all they could hope to achieve was the narrow perspective of pressuring the Labour government to adopt an anti-nuclear stance. Same thing with if you went out on any of the anti-genocide protests of the last 2 years, the leaders of this movement, they kept saying, "Well, we need to pressure them to stop sending money to Israel," and blah 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 blah. And then they kept saying, "Oh well, we've got a success. We got this university," and it's just all bullshit. You can't appeal to people who have no you can't appeal to the conscience of people who have no conscience. Okay, people who support genocide have no conscience. You can't appeal to their moral their moral righteousness, or whatever you want to call it. They have none. They don't have a moral compass. Their positions are tied up with imperialism. Imperialism is not going to stop because you, please. Oh, you know what? You're right. Oh, what are we doing here? We're killing babies. Oh my God. I just had no idea. I had no idea we were doing that. No. That's why they have you sit out there and they go chanting constantly. Duh, duh, duh. Duh, duh, duh. The problem is not the slogans. The slogans are okay for the most part. I mean, some of them were stupid. Like they, defund this, defund that. That's not the way out. The way out is to appeal to workers. The way to stop things is through a general strike. To boycott the delivery of arms to Israel. That's how you stop it. You don't stop it by going, Mr. Boeing, well, would you consider not making these things to send to Israel? That's not going to work. It never does work. But that's the policies of these people who are in charge of these things. That's why, at the largest anti-war movement ever against the Iraq War was basically wound up as soon as Obama came into office. They have no interest. The people who lead these movements, their interest is in getting a little bit of this for themselves. Okay, that's why people, when the Occupy movement came out, like I said, no politics. What they meant was not no politics. No politics outside of Democratic party politics or Socialist Party politics in Spain with Podemos. Telling people involved in a political movement that politics was not something that should be brought up is the kind of statement that's made by police spies and retards, basically. And I'll bet you most of those guys aren't retards. Police spies. Anyway, as anti-militarist system spread among the organization was so limited politically that it advanced just 3 policies in the 1984 election. No foreign military bases in Australia, a ban on uranium mining, and nuclear-free zone in Australian waters and airspace. One of its main arguments was the somewhat inane declaration that it was not in Australia's national interest to be a target in a potential nuclear war. The Australian nationalism that permeated the NDP led it to denigrate any orientation toward the bitter struggles of the American working class against the Reagan administration occurring at the time. Instead, the NDP promoted anti-Americanism, an outlook that draws no distinction between the mass of ordinary American people on the one hand and the policies of the U.S. ruling elite on the other. Summing up in his own outlook, Garrett told a 1984 press conference, "I'm not a radical and I'm not an anarchist. I believe I'm more of a patriot and more jingoistic than these people who see me as a radical." Garrett radicalism in the Greens, NDP's basic conservatism, did not stop the opportunist Socialist Workers' Party, predecessor of the Democratic Socialist Party, now part of Socialist Alliance, from promoting it as the means of opposing war. Just as the Socialist Alliance now promotes the Greens, such was the infatuation of the SWP leadership with the NDP, it instructed its members to join the NDP's ranks. And this is another facet of these pseudo-left, upper middle class twits. They're constantly looking to liquidate any kind of movement of workers. If the party that they're in starts to move towards the left, they rapidly try and liquidate the movement and have them infiltrate another group. As recently with the International Socialist Movement in the United States, so I think that's what they were called. The group that was they published the International Socialist. I can't remember what their name was. Anyway, they recently wrapped up things and told everybody to join the DSA. At a time when considerable illusions existed, and this goes on. I mean, if you can go back 10 years and it happened with another group, with another group, and another group. They're constant. We call them liquidationists. At a time when considerable illusions existed in Garrett, the Socialist Labour League, the Australian section of the International Committee of the Fourth International, ICFI, and the predecessor to the SEP, was alone in publicly differentiating itself from his pro-capitalist politics. The SLL pointed out that the NDP and SWP were functioning to channel the discontent of youth back into the harmless arena of parliamentary illusions and prevent their political education. On the eve of the 1984 election, Workers' News, the SLL's newspaper, editorialized on why we oppose the NDP. The editorial explained the NDP is a bourgeois pacifist organization of political confusion, which seeks to maintain confusion about the role of the Labour government. It specifically warned of the role of Garrett in promoting illusions that the parliamentary system could be made to work in the interests of ordinary people. The correctness of this warning was rapidly verified. The Labour government stepped up its backing for Reagan and its assault on the working class, while the NDP degenerated into unprincipled factional infighting. Garrett, Valentine, and others came into conflict with the SWP interests over organizational issues and resigned en masse just 4 months after the elections. The effective collapse of the organization served to further confuse sections of the youth and reinforce the conception that the working class was powerless against the political establishment. Internationally, the working class proved unable to establish its political independence from the Stalinist and labor bureaucracies and advance a genuine socialist and revolutionary perspective. This led to major defeats by the end of the 1980s, the most catastrophic being the turn by the Stalinist regime under Gorbachev in direct collaboration with U.S. imperialism to restore capitalist relations in the territories of the former Soviet Union and liquidate the social conditions of the Soviet working class. Whatever their intentions, those like Garrett, who rejected a struggle against capitalism and Stalinism as unrealistic, contributed to creating the political conditions of the last decade and a half, during which the international working class has faced a constant assault on its living standards, along with the global eruption of U.S. military aggression. Those looking toward the Greens or Socialist Alliance, for that matter, should take note of the obvious similarities between the two organizations' politics and those of Garrett before he joined Labour. The NDP of the 1980s faded into obscurity. The conceptions that guided it, however, are expressed every day by Bob Brown, Kerry Nettle, and other green and radical politicians: acceptance of the capitalist market, the politics of pacifism, protest and pressure, the rejection of a scientific understanding of society, parochialism and nationalism, and the same skepticism in the working class. It took Peter Garrett 20 years to decide. Oh, wait a minute, I heard something. No, nothing. We're just not getting anywhere today. Getting nowhere. But losing men. We lost 43 dudes so far. The conceptions are going to carry no radical politics. It took Peter Garrett 20 years to decide that nothing essential in his political outlook stood in the way of working with the Labour Party and serving any Labour government. Given the economic and social shocks that are on the agenda, the Greens and Socialist Alliance are unlikely to take that long. In the course of this election campaign, the SCP has spoken with many students, workers, and intellectuals who seriously want to fight for equality and revolutionary social change. Over the coming months, we will work with them to study the strategic experiences of the international working class throughout the 20th century, and above all, the history and lessons of the Russian Revolution. This is the only way to fight the reemergence of militarism and war. All right, well, let's go check that out. Yeah, I'm thinking more something rural. I mean, I would like to move to Berlin, but barring that, I would think something rural in either like outside of Vancouver, Canada, or like Montana, Minnesota, upstate New York, or Massachusetts. I really like Massachusetts. When I lived there as a kid, I thought that was beautiful country. So out like eastern or western Massachusetts, up in them hills. Or still thinking about Taiwan. That looks not what we're looking at. You have to board all of these windows up. You have to board everything up. Every July. And plus, I mean, it's just like, can you imagine? I mean, you have to hire 2 people to clean this, keep this place clean. Plus, the electric bill for this place is probably as high as what I used to pay for rent. Yeah, no, that's just too much. Even if I were a millionaire, that's just too much. I'm thinking more like a 1 or 2, like a 2 or 3 bedroom place out in the country with maybe a barn and an acre or 2 to do kung fu and maybe some woods nearby and a stream. That would be nice. Yeah, I'm sorry everybody, but today it's just been a bust. Got a political lesson, but other than that, I mean, it's just been nothing. We have not. The only thing that we got to explore was this here. Was it this one? Or was it this one? It was this one here. This was it. Other than this, which we'd already discovered, we just hadn't visited. Everything else has been a bust. We did some fighting when we started off over here. We went over here, we went down here, around, boom, nothing. Came over here. Actually, after we did that, we came over here, then we went here. Or we searched all in this area. Then we came here and we went all the way down in here, over to here, nothing. Up here, boom. Boom, and then we went up here, boom, boom. Then just now, here, and up here, just nothing. Been a big freaking bust. I don't know what to do. Before I play this again, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to do some Googling. Maybe watch a couple of videos because this is just not very entertaining. Not entertaining for me or for you. So we're gonna have to find a way forward before I start playing again. I mean, I really like the game when we're doing something, but like today, we didn't do shit. So we're gonna have to find out. We're gonna have to find out where we're gonna go next, or maybe. I mean, they said that some of the map is procedurally generated, but it's like for the map that's out here. And it says you will find stuff, but like way out here. But it becomes less and less frequent. And like I said, a lot of the stuff out here is procedurally generated. So it's not intrinsic to the story or to progression in the game. But, I mean, definitely in this area, we should be finding stuff, and we're not. So I'm going to have to watch a video or two to see what other people are doing. You know, actually, a few years ago, I was looking online at castles, and you can find some castles that are a lot cheaper than that. There was one for sale in, this was like 10, 15 years ago. I remember there was one in South Africa that had a golf course, a 9-hole golf course on it, which was, it was actually really cheap. It was like 100 and some thousand. Couldn't believe that it was. I'm guessing it had no electricity or something, or I don't know. Maybe there was a mass murder or something over there. I don't know. but yeah, I mean those mansions and stuff. They're enormously expensive to take care of. Plus, you have to worry about the property tax. No matter even, I mean, for that one that you showed, the property tax has got to be enormous. I mean, every year you got to pay like, I don't know, 16 million. You probably got to pay like $20,000 in your property taxes. So that's just for the privilege of owning. Even if you own the thing outright, you're still going to have to keep paying those property taxes. Same thing with like if you own like a castle or something. And then you also have the upkeep. And like for the castles, they don't have. A lot of them weren't, they were built before electricity. And air conditioning and heating, and then also before indoor plumbing. So all of that is stuff that has to be taken care of. And, yeah, I mean, just the cleaning bill for a lot of that stuff is out of sight. Plus, who wants to live in a house that you're not going to visit? Half of the rooms you're never going to walk into, or maybe only walk into once a year. What's the point? I'd rather have like a one or two, maybe, well, actually 2 or 3 bedrooms, so like my kid could live with me, or relatives could come and visit, and then I have a couple of acres to go play on. I must not be moving, huh? Or something. $375. That's only $175 more than what I was paying where I used to live. Now look up Village Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, which is where I used to live. And my HOA fees were $195 when I quit. When I left 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm not interested in having a lot of indoor space. Bedroom, an office, and like a studio where I can do kung fu indoors, and the living room or dining room slash living room slash dining room. I do like a big kitchen though. So I like to cook. Yeah, no, it's basically this. I really wanted to move there because it was it would allow my son to still go to the school that he was going to, or had been going to, and there was a lot of green. And literally, as soon as like a month after I moved there, they started taking all the greenery out and putting in rocks and stuff, only leaving the green by the HOA heads' houses. But everybody else had the green taken away. And yeah, it was a nice enough place, but it was like, it was so old. It was always fun. It was like literally, even though it was cheap to live there because I bought it really cheap, it was expensive because I literally every month I was fixing something. Well, maybe not every other month I was fixing something. I had the air conditioning go out. I lived there for about 12 years, I think it was. And I had the air conditioning go out on me like 3 times in the summertime. I didn't have money to get it fixed. Eventually, like a year before I moved out, I bought a new air conditioner. And apparently a year after I moved out, the people who owned the place said the air conditioning broke. I'm guessing because they didn't change the filter, because it was always working fine. And it's so dusty out here that you literally have to change your air conditioning filter every month. If you don't, your air conditioning will break down. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it was always something. And I didn't like that. I didn't like this. I like a gas stove, and everything there was electric, which made cooking a pain in the ass. Because you literally, you have to, when you have an electric stove instead of a gas stove, you have to start cooking like a half an hour to an hour earlier. You have to at least tack on an extra half an hour to cook. Because the electric doesn't get as hot as the gas. All right, well, it looks like a big Zippo for us tonight, huh? Nothing new. All right, well, let's try. I guess we're gonna fight somebody down here. See if we can't do that. At least, I've only got about another 10 minutes of streaming, and then I have to leave. But I'm going to try and if I'm still wide awake, which I am kind of now, I'll try and do another. I'll try to do some Broken Arrow when I come back. Do like at least 2 games. What are you doing, Buy Me Mel? I got treats over here. Buy Me Mel. Hey. Hey, Scooby-Doo. Buy Me Mel. Well, Orson must have left some of his treats over there. He's eating treats over there. Are you eating some of Orson's treats? Orson generally doesn't leave his treats. It's cheaper when you have gas and electricity. Like the apartment or the house that I was renting with my son, we had gas and electric. So the gas during the summer, gas was nothing. The gas was they use the gas for heating and for like your dryer and stuff. My son liked to wash clothes every fucking day. I'm sure he doesn't do that now that he's paying for everything. But when he was living with me, every day he would wash clothes. Come on. I want to make sure I save, just in case they kill me. Waiting for that next death ray to come out. What's that? This autonomous station appears to be monitoring something from deep space. It's generating a diffuse high-entropy signal to jam it. Its systems are quite advanced and encrypted, and it seems the only way to stop it is to destroy it. Alright, well, looks like that's about it. Hopefully I'm not going to be fighting with them. Oh. It's right here. on it. Well, that's all done. So let's all right, folks, that's going to be it for tonight. Like I said, I'll try and come back about 45 minutes or so and do a game or two of Broken Arrow. I've already got the thumbnail done. And like I said, before I do this one again, we're going to I'm gonna look at some videos because we can't do this. We spent 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I mean, there was a little bit of action in there, but maybe like 10 minutes of action, and the rest of it was just driving around doing nothing. If I wouldn't have read the article there, actually we read 2 articles, there would have been, it would have been complete, yeah. So, I'm going to come back. About 45 minutes, Broken Arrow. At least I'm going to try to. And like I said, I'm gonna watch a video or 2 on Starcom so that we don't go through this again. I really enjoyed the game, but you gotta actually do something. You gotta actually do something. Instead of sailing about aimlessly. Make sure I save again. I'll see you later. If I don't, have a great weekend. Tomorrow night we're doing Elite Dangerous. Space colonization space truck. I gotta get one of those sounds. Alright, have a good night, folks. If I don't see you later, ciao. And as always, Perpetual, thanks for joining. I really appreciate it.